To discuss the return of Donald Trump to the Oval Office, I'm joined by our international affairs editor, Philip Turle. Philip, the swearing-in ceremony will be taking place indoors, won't it? Which is a first in 40 years.
40 years since 1985. Who was president back then? It was Ronald Reagan. That was his second term in office after having first been sworn in 1981. So 40-year gap. Which means basically that many people who have gone to Washington today were hoping to witness firsthand the swearing in of Donald Trump are going to be disappointed. That's because it's going to take place inside the Rotunda. Now, that's the main building in the Capitol. It's the main room inside the Capitol, right in the center. The problem is that it can only take in about 700 people, which is not enough when you think that there are like 20,000 people or more who have bought tickets to come to Washington to see, or 200,000 who've come to Washington to see that swearing-in ceremony. But the law and order forces are taking no chances. 25,000 law enforcement personnel and military will be making sure there's no problem. As you said, this is the same place where the riots of January the 6th took place in 2021 for those who thought the election had been stolen from Donald Trump. Another 30 miles of fencing, that's about 48 kilometres worth of fencing around there to keep people at bay. So if those who've come all the way from around the United States can't get to see the ceremony live, some will be allowed into an arena nearby where they'll be able to watch that ceremony taking place, but they won't see it in person. And for all the others, unfortunately, it looks like they're going to have to stand outside in the cold and witness that ceremony on large television screens.
And there's a lot of anticipation about what Donald Trump's first measures will be. What do we know already?
Right. Well, there are several. And to put it frankly, Donald Trump is saying he's going to sign 100 executive orders almost immediately he takes office. There are some rumours flying around that Donald Trump might even do this in public when he makes an appearance tomorrow. What we know is he's saying there are going to be massive deportations of illegal aliens, up to about 1 million a year. New sweeping tariffs on imported goods, that's up to about 20% for goods coming from Europe, 65% for goods coming from China. The withdrawal of the Paris Climate Agreement, saying basically that Donald Trump is going to give the impetus to using fossil fuels. Remember that phrase, drill, baby, drill, to drill for more oil. So he withdrew from the Paris Agreement when he was last in office between 2016 and 2020. Joe Biden went back in again. Donald Trump is going to pull the United States out for a second time. He's also going to pardon rioters from the January the 6th, 2021 protests. This is not a measure that's gone down particularly well with many in the United States. About 62% or so of the US population say they don't really agree that those rioters should be pardoned. That's according to an NPR poll, but it looks like Donald Trump will go ahead and pardon several of them, and end to the war in Ukraine. We don't know how that's going to work out. Donald Trump originally saying he was going to do this in only 6 days. Now he's saying within 6 months. What will the discussions be with Vladimir Putin? What will the future US role be with Volodymyr Zelensky and with the Ukrainians? I think we'll have to wait to see how that's going to work out. Will Donald Trump annex Greenland and the Panama Canal? That is what he's been talking about during the election campaign. We'll have to wait and see about that as well. But Donald Trump has already said he wants to end transgender rights in the United States and to end the right of birth, i.e. if you're born in the US, you automatically become a US citizen. He said that is also going to have to come to an end.
And what has the international reaction been to Trump's pledges?
Well, I think generally, the reaction has been a wait-and-see reaction. I think there's a lot of concern around the world about what is going to happen. One pundit in the US says it's like a meteorite landing in the United States, the re-election of Donald Trump, and we'll have to wait to see if or which dinosaurs are going to be made extinct as a result of that. So I think that there is an anticipation that things could go well, things could go not quite so well. As far as Europe is concerned, I think there's concern about the remarks about Greenland, for example. I think there's more solidarity towards Denmark, the Kingdom of Denmark, which has the right over Greenland, which controls foreign policy and defence, saying that Donald Trump should not just come in and take control of a European Union member and a member of NATO like the United States. The British have been saying that they don't believe they're going to be tariffs imposed on British goods, and if they see that, then they are in a position to retaliate. As far as China is concerned, the Chinese vice president is at the ceremony today in Washington. Donald Trump said he's pretty keen to have a meeting with the Chinese pretty quickly, a head-to-head meeting with the Chinese leadership to try to work out some kind of deal. I think what Donald Trump wants to do now, as far as his rivals in the world is concerned, is not send his diplomats. He wants to meet them in person, and that's the way he's going to operate from now onwards. We'll see whether that's going to bear the fruits that he hopes that it will.